Hey, welcome back, my Goal Getter Gangsters. It's your girl, Christina Leandra Lopez, aka your classy hood chick. Welcome back, and for those of you that are new to the channel, I really hope you stay with me and you get some value out of this, and leave a comment and let me know your thoughts. So today I'm doing a book review on The Magic Lamp by Keith Ellis. So this book, this is the third time that I read it. It was actually a book that was assigned to us by my employer. And if you completed the reading and you completed the worksheet that they provided with goal setting and setting your goals, we were able to get a bonus. So this is my third time reading it because they do assign it every January in the beginning of the year, which is a perfect time because, right, it's the beginning of the year. People have resolutions, but really we just need to focus on goals and goal setting and how to just keep going after the things that we want. So really just keeping that inspiration going, right? Because there's always new things to achieve because we're capable of achieving anything that we desire. And I really love this book because I love how Keith Ellis really puts goals more in the sense of a wish. So thinking about, okay, people always talk about, I wish I had this, I wish I had that. Everybody's always wishing, for something. So for me, I thought, what a great way to kind of think of our goals as wishes, because really, we really can achieve everything that we desire if we visualize, we know what we want, we have a plan, and we go after it. So I like how Keith Ellis really breaks this down, really kind of using that, Aladdin and the magic lamp and having a wish, and he has a process for it. So I'm going to break down the book. I took a lot of notes. I'm going to be referring to my notes as well. I'm kind of just going to get straight to the big points of the book and his tips and how to properly goal set using his lamp process. So L is for lock on. So he's basically saying first you want to lock on to know what your wish is, what's your goals, to really understand and know what you want to wish for. So I like in the chapter, he really kind of gives you some ideas and some questions to kind of guide you to find out, what is it that you want out of life? So what should be your wish? What should you go after? So he does give you some questions to kind of ask yourself that I like because it's really kind of tuning into, yourself and, what it is that you want to get. Keith Ellis explains that for him, he decided to use a goal and change it into a wish because he felt it just gave a lot more emotion, a lot more impact for him, and really working on setting his goals. And he gives you a breakdown kind of on how to, the questions and how to kind of brainstorm, which I really think is a great idea. I've done this before in the past, but really just being able to brainstorm some ideas, and some questions, for example, one of the questions was just, if I can do anything, with my life, what would it be? So just, again, just writing down and brainstorming any random idea. Don't overthink it and don't start bringing up objections of, oh, that's never going to happen. I can't do that. Whatever the case may be, or I want to be a famous singer, actress, don't let the doubt come up and don't hold yourself back. Just write down whatever it is you want. So really brainstorming. So he gives you some great ideas on that and questions to ask. Next, step 2, he talks about act. So the A stands for act. So he's talking about really being able to take action and start to set yourself in motion so that the momentum can start building so that you can start going after your wish. And then 3, the M is for manage your progress. So manage your progress and really finding ways to measure your wish. Because, you hear all the time, people might set a goal or a wish and say, I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, so now we need to measure it and manage it. So when you're managing it, you're having a deadline, you're setting a deadline by when, and then measuring it by, okay, break that down. If I want it by June, what does that look like weekly, monthly, breaking it down so that we can constantly measure and track. He did give some examples of ways to measure your progress towards your wish if it's something that's not very easily measurable. For example, he used, if you wanted to say, let's say my wish is to have a happier marriage. Well, obviously there's really not too many ways that you can actually measure your progress on that. So he gives an idea as if it's more of an emotional tie and you want to have a happier marriage, then have a way to measure it using like different actions. So for example, he said, you can say, I want to set a date night once a month for me and my spouse because I believe that's going to create a happier marriage. So now you can measure your date nights. Okay, did I plan a date night for us this month or did I not plan a date night for us this month? So really using certain like tasks and actions to help measure those particular goals that might not be so easily trackable, such as losing weight, that we can measure ourselves, we can get on a scale, we can take photos of our before and after. So that's a little bit more easier to measure versus something that's more emotional. So I thought that was a really great idea. For step 4 in his LAMP process, P is for persist. So really just finish what you start. Be persistent. Once you set your goal, once you set your wish, be persistent and just keep going after it. So that's pretty much the LAMP process that he uses, but I really want to break down some extra key points and highlights. And really I took a lot of notes and quotes out of the book that just really sparked me emotionally as far as like just being very impactful. He says, if you take your wishes as seriously as you take your vacations, you just might turn your entire life into a vacation. So that one, I love it because I've heard that before where it's like people will spend so much more time planning a 5-day vacation with their family and still can't even like plan their finances, right? It's like when I hear all the time, because it's true. Like I know people who will have 3 vacations a year but are still struggling with debt or credit card or don't know how to budget. So really taking your wish seriously, because if you really want this to come true, you have to take it serious. I mean, you can sit here and take a vacation serious and plan your destination, buy your flights, make sure you have your hotel, your travel and all that stuff situated. But why can't we do that when it comes to a wish that could potentially really just change our lives? So I thought that was a really great reminder. He also says just to kind of think small and focus on a single step. So I love this because I'm a big believer on little by little, because I do not like to get stressed out. I don't like to get anxiety, and I don't want to be overwhelming myself. That's not me. That's not how I roll. Nope. Sorry. No, thank you. I like to make things more easily attainable by just making it easy. Don't overcomplicate things. You know what I'm saying? Like, why we got to complicate stuff? Just keep it simple. So really thinking small and focusing on a single step, because that's really what it takes. Example, if it's like working out or fitness, trying to get healthier, sometimes it's as simple as 20 minutes a day. I mean, who does not have 20 minutes a day? Y'all got 20 minutes, okay? We just got to be upfront with ourselves, okay? And not lie to ourselves, because we got time. There's time. So that's kind of just a good way to put things in perspective. Don't overwhelm yourself and, okay, if I want to lose 20 pounds, don't be realistic. Don't set 20 pounds in a month. I'm sorry. That's just going to be very overwhelming, less attainable, and very likely that you're going to quit quicker versus, hey, I'm going to give myself 6 months. Okay, now we're going to break it down by the month, break it down by the week, break it down by the day, and really just focusing on that one small step. I'm a big believer on that, so I really wanted to share that as well. And there's a story that I have heard many, many times before, especially through all the motivational content that I consume daily, but I really wanted to share it with you. So he shares a story about this study that was actually done based on visualization, and just to show how powerful visualization is, which I'm a huge believer on. So I'm going to read the story. So this happened actually in Ohio State. So in Ohio State, I don't know what year they did it. I'm not sure. He doesn't say, but this is an actual study that was done. So Ohio State University had divided a group of basketball players. Okay, so what they did was they divided the group of basketball players into 3 groups. So one group, they had them practice foul shots. Okay, and they were practicing every day for a whole month, and they were practicing for an hour and a half a day. So this one first group that they separated was just constantly just practicing those foul shots for a whole month for an hour and a half. The second group, they had visualized shooting foul shots. Now they didn't have them physically do it. They made the second group just sit and spend time. I'm not sure if it said how much time they visualized for. It doesn't say, but you can probably Google it and look up the study. But they had them visualize. I would imagine they might have had them doing this for maybe about an hour and a half a day, just because the other group was physically doing it for an hour and a half. But again, I'm not sure. I definitely would encourage you to go look up that study because it's interesting in itself anyways. But so they had the other group visualize, and they just kept visualizing themselves doing it. They were not actually physically doing it. They weren't even moving their arms, pretending to do it. They just sat in silence and they visualized themselves practicing foul shots. And they had them do this visualization technique every day for a month as well. Then they had the third group. So now the third group, they had do nothing. They told them, you're not going to visualize shooting foul shots, and you're not going to physically shoot foul shots. And so this group did nothing for 30 days. So what they ended up finding is that the first team that was actually physically shooting the foul shots for a whole month had improved their results by 28%. Then the second team, who only visualized shooting foul shots, but did not physically shoot them, had improved 27%. So there was 1% difference. So I love this story. It's a study that actually happened, but I love hearing the story because, again, this actually happened, and it really just kind of reminds you of how powerful visualization is. Making sure that you can see your wish, whatever your wish is. If it's, to have a beach home, seeing yourself, on the beach, feeling the breeze, really just visualizing. So whatever that wish is, that goal, you really want to just visualize yourself, visualize the journey of it, but really visualize the end result. And again, we talk a lot about that on manifestation, because it's all about manifesting and visualizing the end result, and not so much worrying about the how. But in this book, we're talking more about being able to take those action steps and the goal setting to get you there, which I ultimately think just all ties in together. I forgot to mention the last group that didn't do anything, had no improvement. So you can definitely see how the power in visualization, because the first group that physically practiced, of course, they're physically getting themselves, prepared. They're spending, every day, hour and a half for 30 days, for a month. They obviously are going to improve. The second one just visualized, but the third group, they did nothing and had no improvement at all. And Keith also shares the importance of affirmations. And if you're familiar with my channel, y'all know I'm a big believer of affirmations. I love them. They're easy to do. It's something we should have been taught since we were children. But, a lot of us who come from more of those toxic environments, definitely that's something that we're not that aware of, right? Some of us come from that toxic environment where we got to do a lot of extra programming to ourselves. So affirmation is just the easiest way, and I love it. So I love that Keith really discussed and brings up affirmations. He said if you tell yourself anything often enough, you're going to believe it, because that's ultimately what it is. When we want to achieve our wishes, it's really important to have a positive mindset and to use affirmations to our benefit. And I always talk about this all the time. So really being able to use affirmations that are going to help you achieve your wish. So he gives some examples about maybe using words like I choose to. So let's just say if you want to increase your income, I choose to increase my income, X amount by X amount. So using words, because it's more empowering, because now I have the choice. I'm choosing to do it. It's easy just to say, oh, I want this. It's not that much emotion when you say, oh, I want to increase my income. Yeah, I want to increase my income. But if you say, I choose to, now I'm owning up to my power and the power that I have to achieve my goals, and using many different affirmations. I did a video on affirmations. If you want to check that one out, I would definitely encourage you to. And affirmation is just a perfect way to really just get your mind back on track and get focused back on your wishes and your goals. He discusses in the book to honor your schedule. So when we're going after our wishes, we want to make sure that we're taking the right action steps, that we're setting time aside to achieve those wishes and goals. So it's really important to honor your schedule, and really honor your schedule to yourself for whatever goal or wish that you're trying to achieve. If you don't honor your schedule, then how can you expect anybody else to honor your schedule? You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Like, if you don't respect yourself, then how do you expect anybody else to respect you? So if you're not respecting your time, then don't expect other people to respect your time. So I'm a big believer on that. I've always really put my time first, because I always got goals and things that I'm working on. And I love just little points in the book that he really just kind of inspires you. There was a lot of good quotes that just really helped to inspire, why you're going after your wishes, a reminder, and, just to remind yourself that, it's really up to us, right? It's up to us to make our wishes come true. And just kind of like the whole little genie in a magic lamp, we have the ability to have everything we want, as long as we actually, know what it is that we want, take the action, and really just manage our progress, and then plan our finish. He also discussed making sure that you plan your finish, and then having another goal queued up after that as well. But there was a lot of good little quotes that I wanted to share with you, again, that just add more of that inspiration. He mentioned even ordinary effort over time will yield extraordinary results. So it's like an ordinary effort, but if you're just constantly doing it over time, ultimately it's going to create extraordinary results. And so you don't stress yourself out thinking like, oh, I got to do extraordinary, massive effort to create this extraordinary result. No, it's just literally, like you said, little by little, and keep consistent, and then making sure that you just really keep to your wish every day, no matter how small it is. Even if it's, okay, my wish is to lose weight, but today I'm gonna watch a YouTube video on food. That's easily something that you can do that's gonna really be a certain action step and a task that you can add for that one day. So even though you're not physically working out that day, at least you took some sort of action step to really keep your mind on track with the progress. And another quote that I wanted to share in the book that he says that I really liked was, he says, "An idiot can tell you what's wrong with the world, but the movers and shakers do something about it." Because it's just so easy to get really consumed in the negativity around us through social media, through movies, through the news, through friends and family. It's a lot of negativity. So we really have to make sure that we learn to kind of take control of our emotions and the content that we're consuming. But again, it's hard to avoid. I mean, I'm guilty of it all the time too, even, watching, a horror movie or something that's just full of like a lot of negativity. But really just trying to stay focused on our wish and our goal and trying not to get too derailed by the negativity around us. And there was a lot of good quotes in this book, so I'm going to keep sharing a few more quotes that I just found to be very powerful and impactful. Another quote in the book that he says is that you can't fail unless you run out of options, but you can't run out of options unless you give up. And I really like that one because I thought that was just a really good perspective on, it's so true. You're not gonna, you might think like, oh, how am I gonna achieve this wish or this goal? I ran out of options, I did everything I could, and it's just, it's just not possible for me. Again, that's negativity and that's a negative affirmation. So we got to change our mindset on that. But you're not going to run out of options unless you give up, because there's always going to be more options. The only time you're going to run out of options is when you just give up on yourself, on your wish, and on your goal. So I thought that was definitely a great perspective. And another reminder, when you're working on achieving your wish, he says that when you're in love with the cause, you're following the path of least resistance. So it's a really great way to really find out, is this something you're really passionate about? Because if you're in love with the cause and why you're going after this wish that you want to achieve, then you should naturally follow that path of least resistance. It shouldn't be something that you're forcing yourself to do, because you should really enjoy it and want to do this. So if you're finding yourself where you're now kind of like, oh, I don't enjoy this, I don't want to do this, then it might not be the right wish at the right time for you. And it's okay to revise it, to change it. Maybe your circumstances, you have different knowledge, different experience. It's okay to revise your plan. But ultimately, when you're going after your wish, this is why you really want to spend time in the beginning. Make sure we're spending enough time knowing what we want to go after. So that way we can kind of check in with ourselves. Are we following that path of least resistance because we enjoy it, or are we kind of now struggling? So maybe it wasn't the right wish to go after, or maybe there's just we can revise it a little bit, maybe make some adjustments so that it does become something enjoyable, because again, you want to really make sure that you're in love with the cause. And a few more last things that he mentioned in the book that I had to share is this patience. Remember to have patience. He says, patience is an enjoyable skill that can be mastered. And so you really want to use this to your advantage. Make sure that you allow yourself some time to relax, regain your self-control. So use that patience. Don't get frustrated because you haven't achieved this wish yet. Just really remember, okay, it's time to pause, have patience. It will come. Might not come right this second, but you're on your way, and use that time just to kind of relax and regain your self-control, like he says, and use that time and enjoy it. Really make it something enjoyable, so that even though I don't have my wish right now, you know what, I'm enjoying this process and I'm enjoying this journey and I'm enjoying the time until I get my wish. So really just mastering that patience. So keep patience on your side and enjoy the process. Another point he mentions, he says, it will be your choices, not your circumstances, that will make whoever you become. Because it's our choice. It's not our circumstances. Yes, you can come from a more toxic environment. You can be struggling financially. You can be struggling in an unhappy relationship. Whatever the case is, those are your circumstances, but you have the choice. There's always a choice. So you can choose, if that's a toxic situation, you have the choice to move on. There's always going to be a choice, and there's always going to be options, as long as you, like he said, don't give up. So whatever the case may be, just really reminding yourself that it's going to be your choices that make you who you are, and not your circumstances. So this is our wish, this is our plan. We have to make the choices to keep the momentum going and get us closer to our wish every day. You are powerful. You have the power to achieve anything it is that you want to accomplish. You have to believe it first. Once you believe it, you can achieve it, right? What you can believe, you can achieve. He says, once you realize that you can give yourself whatever you want, you're no longer content to settle for less. And it is very, very true. So Keith Ellis ends the book with, wishing really works if you do. So again, you guys, I thought this was a great book. This is my third time reading it, and I wanted to share the main points of the book to really kind of help you understand the process of goal setting. So I am gonna put a link in the description below with my Amazon referral link. If you wanna grab a copy, I would highly recommend it because I gave you a lot of great points, but there's nothing like just really reading it on your own and making sure you have the book and taking notes and have it to reference. I love reading books from successful people. I love to know what other successful people are reading and who they're learning from, because again, you guys, we're all powerful. We're all here for a reason. And I really, really hope you guys understand that and that you got something out of this. And like I said, if you're new to the channel and you got any value out of this, please push the like button and subscribe, because we're on this journey together. Y'all, we got this. We're here together. We're all gonna succeed. And I know that we are, because that's why you're here, or else you wouldn't be here today with me. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for spending time with me, and I will see you guys next time.